This episode, we're going to the studio of a well-known Haitian Canadian artist who is paving the way for artists of color, and visiting a Haitian Canadian chef who is elevating and expertly fusing Haitian and Caribbean flavors. It's stuck in my head, a sentence from Catherine Porter's book. She flew to Haiti as a journalist, reporting on the after effects of the 2010 earthquake. She said, "Passively witnessing tragedy and injustice is corrosive to your soul. The problem is we don't act because we don't see. There is no emotional connection to brutality that has happened and is happening halfway across the world. Which is why, in art galleries around the world, Haitian Canadian artist Manuel Mathieu's mesmerizing visual mediums can append and disrupt your cognition. He explores complex themes like power, solitude, vulnerability, and self-destruction. I get lost within the intersecting layers of biomorphic shapes, beautiful as they are unsettling."
So that painting here that you're seeing is Saturn eating his son. The reason why he was eating his kids, it was because he wanted to hold the power. And that painting is called the delusion of power. Imagine you want the power for yourself and you're eating your daughter. Because you don't want her to live, because if she lives, she might compete you in your power. That's what this idea is about. You know, what's happening in Haiti right now, there's an interesting dynamic of power and how power can be displayed and taken away from people to a certain point. And I was intrigued by that because there's something absurd about that image in that context.
Power is the end goal. It's so important. It consumes our lives.
It consumes our lives, and it becomes the compass in which you measure your existence. And that can be critical to your future.
Manuel knows about the lust for power and its caustic nature on a human psyche. Born in Haiti in 1986, the last year of dictator Baby Doc's reign, he had family on his maternal side who were members of the Duvalier dictatorship, while some members of his father's side who didn't kiss the ring literally disappeared. That looks like the same Saturn.
It is the same structure, but I'm gonna deconstruct it completely on that one.
Okay.
Because this is an iconic image in art history.
Yeah.
And I want to move away from that.
And what effect are you trying to achieve? Because at the end of the day, art has to affect people, right?
Not every art is meant for you to feel something. The idea is not to do something for a public. The idea is to do something to create a new way of seeing the world.
This is where Manuel gets his inspiration. You have to turn him around 3 times. You have to turn him around 3 times. Faster! 1, 2. We're not in Montreal anymore.
Faster.
We're not in Montreal anymore.
Landing
We're not in
now.
Montreal anymore.
Holy shit.
Okay, there we go.
It works. I'm
that
like
inspire
fucking
you?
dizzy right now.
Yeah. Just one line right there. Just one line. As we drink our way out of normalcy, the pictures become more alluring. You can look at this and find something new
Every time. That intensity is connected with the time that you spend with the painting. And it forces you to be exactly where you are. You know, museums can be considered as churches, right? It's a moment where you actually embracing your vulnerability.
And it's not
powerful.
boring. It's not boring. It's like
There's a
church is
dynamic.
boring to me. Church is boring. Okay, but this to me, like it's just.
There's a dynamic. There's different ways that I use my gift to express myself. History is one of them. The history side is in a quest of preservation, because there is an agenda to erase the past of certain, population and certain cultures. And in addressing that through history or self-actualization or through creating my own mythology, these are ways that I decide to be present in the world. People go like, it's fun. I like the fact that there's a thick layer of painting and it's flat. I'm like, What did I say to that person? I was like, I think,
Get the fuck out of my studio. We seamlessly transition from art in the studio to artfulness in a restaurant. Kamuy, an elevated pan-Caribbean restaurant, a food testing ground of sorts, where Haitian-Canadian chef Paul Touissant and team interweave Caribbean and Creole flavors and techniques like an expertly crafted quilt. Prior to this brainchild, Paul worked at one of Canada's best fine dining restaurants, Touquet. Before COVID, he traveled to Haiti up to 6 times per year, constantly learning new cooking techniques and flavor profiles from north to south. Paul knows how to get things started. I never heard of Culinary.
Yeah, today you're gonna try
50%! Vamos a kill us! Oh, that goes down. It doesn't taste like 50%.
No, you don't like
It goes down. And there's like is there a lemon or a lime in there?
Like, it's a rum sound.
What's this wondrous spirit I never heard of? For all you cocktail, high-end spirit, tiki culture punch drinkers like myself, this one deserves real estate on your bar. Unlike rum, which is distilled from molasses, this is classified as a rum agricole, a French term meaning distilled from pure sugarcane juice. So you generally get grassy, floral, smoky notes. Oh yeah, and on a conscious tip, what is not thought about, present company included, when sipping sugarcane derived drinks like rum agricole, or even cachaça in Brazil, that all these drinks began life at sugarcane plantations, which were cultivated for over 300 years by forced labor. The whole rum industry was sprung from colonial beginnings, and still the industry hasn't made proper reparations. We went to Manuel's studio,
Studio, yeah.
and we were talking about the pervasiveness of art in Haiti and how almost it's inherent for every Haitian to be an artist of some sort.
Yes.
Why is that?
I'll let Paul answer it first. That's like a fucking trick question, you know what I mean?
Me, I grew up in Jamaica. Everyone is like an artist. People have time to think. We have a nice influence like from the Tainos who did like a lot of art thing, and after we have the African like we know like they are the one like who create a lot of like beautiful art that people have to recreate like to say like it's themselves. Like example, I can talk about Picasso. When you see some mask in the Picasso, you can feel like there is like African heritage in it.
Picasso, one of Europe's most famous painters, influenced by African art? Influence might be an understatement. African art so profoundly affected Picasso that it was a breakthrough in his current mode of creating and allowed him to surpass his rivals. But get this, he denied even knowing about African art, denying that Africans had the capacity to create great art. This earned him the nickname Culture Vulture.
What do you think about it, Manuel?
Haiti has a deep understanding of itself through its spirituality, through its legacy, you know what I mean? I don't practice voodoo, but voodoo knows me.
Yeah.
It's inherent, it's in your blood.
Yeah, making art, creating images, crystallize your thoughts.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it becomes a way of preservation. In my culture, preservation is really important because death is always present.
Yeah, it's part of us.
As divisive as Moise's was as a president, there still was a bringing together of all the Haitian people because they were still opposed to the manner in which he died.
But let me say something before we start this.
Yeah.
The president of a nation is the first citizen, symbolically. Our first citizen was killed. So everybody needs to sit down and be like,
Right. There's a problem.
there's a problem. That's not cool.
Yeah.
It sends a message to all Haitians.
Yes.
All of you can get killed.
Yeah. We fell. We need like the new revolution. Let's be together for Haiti.
Waist to ceiling visuals evoke sense of the hustle and bustle of Haitian marketplaces.
It's like people cooking in the street, like making like their stuff, like cooking.
Beautiful.
Here we have like the biggest part of the market. It's like when you are in a market in Haiti, you're gonna see like it's a mix of people, color, it's everything.
Art with an ode to the old ways of doing things.
This is the banana farm. Everything is by hand.
Poetry from famous Haitian-Canadian poet Denis Laferrière, inscribed on walls, seductively describing Haitian ingredients.
Marabout de mon cœur au sein de mandarine. Ce n'est plus savoureux que crabe en aubergine. This is the Caribbean Sea. I got everything from the Caribbean. I put it in the box. Create this is the sea for me.
Griot, succulent pork shoulder with fried plantain and pickliz. Tiger shrimp in a red pepper sauce sits atop a seasonal vegetable puree of sweet potato.
The shrimps are off the hook. You had the grill, and then you treated the lettuce. You didn't just throw it on the plate.
No.
You treated the lettuce with a little grill.
Yeah,
it was grilled. Lettuce,
yeah.
Tamal mais moule, cornmeal with goat curry, sided with a coconut curry sauce.
You dip it in the sauce? Too late.
Yucca, deep fried then shaped into patties with Columbian cheese in the center. Haitian marinade, fried chicken fritters with a mayo-based dipping sauce. Fish ceviche, green onions, lime, and yuzu juice, Scotch bonnet oil, and root chips.
I was speaking to someone from Haiti yesterday. He's like, you tried everything. You tried Griot. They both put it up. I'm like, no, we're going to Chef Paul's tomorrow, and he could take it up a notch, and you hit it out of the park. And this is just the appetizer.
Yes,
or is this,
the plate's coming right now.
The plates are coming, and you can't even talk. He's delighted. He's like, oh my God.
You got me busy.
You got me busy.
Vegan plate, chickpeas based on seasonal veggies in the market, eggplant, mushrooms, baby potatoes, carrots in a coconut sauce. Dombre, a Caribbean sweet potato dumpling in a rich coconut bisque. Today we get octopus, but it can be lobster or shrimp depending on what's fresh and available. Dombre is a flour with herbs, same flour they use in sauce pois. Lomo al trapo, filet mignon beef tenderloin grilled directly on the fire with sweet potato and ground provision, like yucca and malanga, also a chimichurri on the side. This is Columbian influenced.
Oh.
It's smoky.
That's what I couldn't put my finger on it. It's not even a spice, it's just
It's smoky. Like the meat, just smoky.
wow.
When we grill meat, we grill it directly on the fire. This is the difference. It's normally here people use more they're gonna sear the meat. Us we pour it in the fire and we let it we call that boucané in Haiti.
Poulet grill, grilled chicken with a piece seasoning. Sea bream sits atop leeks, watercress, beurre blanc with passion fruit, grenadier sauce.
Fish is so delicate, it falls apart in your mouth. When you get a little bit of sweetness, that's the passion fruit?
Passion fruit, yeah.
Plantain puree, also known as mofongo in Puerto Rico or Cuba, or just mungo in Dominican Republic.
Oh, the skin is so crispy, perfectly crispy.
Fucking hell, why do you do that? If I'm going down, you're going
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. No. Come to Kamuy. Come to Kamuy. If you think you know Haitian food, you don't know Haitian food until you came to Kamuy. No, for real. I've tried all the basics. I tried them 5 times, 6 times. What can you do with this, right? But you've managed to take it to the next level.
I gotta get better at identifying my tropical fruits.
What did you call this?
Colossal.
Colossal. Is it one fruit in here?
There's 2 fruits.
Okay, I'm tasting it. Let me guess.
Yeah,
Passion fruit?
No.
Mango?
No.
Guava?
No.
Papaya?
No.
You're going, man. It's like
Tamarind, sour soap, and after
sour
soap, yeah. Colossal.
Tamarind and soursop, those are the only fruits.
Oh, yes.
We bid adieu to our gracious host Paul. Caribbean Creole food intermingling in our bellies like it's carnival. I come away with the feeling of possibilities, of what can be achieved when in the kitchen, when neighboring countries play nice together. The result is harmony on a plate. Next episode, we go deeper into Haitian history with Haitian Canadian Rito Joseph and visit a Haitian cafe to try more Haitian inspired dishes.